A very warm welcome back to Stott Field at Kearsney College. We have 2 games left in the 2017 Standard Bank Kearsney Easter Rugby Festival as this festival starts to wind down towards a thrilling conclusion. We have another cracking game lined up. Monument taking on Selborne College. Jono Dayton alongside me. Jono, these are 2 of probably the form sides at this festival. It's going to be a great game to watch them go head to head.
Yeah, definitely. Like, these 2 sides have been playing a great brand of rugby. They've been out there on the field. I've seen them warming up, and they're both looking absolutely pumped and fired up. So we are definitely in for an absolute stunner of a game in the second last game of the Standard Bank Kearsney Easter Rugby Festival.
I don't know whether you just saw there on the screen, but one of the initiatives from the festival this year is that they're handing out an award to the school that has the most flair, that plays with the most passion. And it was awarded this year to Noordkaap, who played some incredible rugby. And even in that last game where they went down to Glenwood, they were running the ball and playing with flair all the way right to the end. A guy like Cameron Hufke, their fullback, was instrumental in their game plan over the last week. But we're looking at the sides now going forward into this game, Selborne versus Monument. There's some thrilling matchups, but don't think we have to look too much further than the number 10 matchup. David Kutzer, proven quality match winner for Selborne College at 10, and the skipper of the Selborne side, going up against Jonathan Viljoen, who has got a monster boot on him and runs the game beautifully from fly half. Another interesting matchup we're going to see today is fullbacks. Dandre Prinsloo was a standout in their second game on Saturday when Monument came away with a win against Middelburg, 35 points to 8. But on the Selborne side, they've got Jason Robenheimer, who's also been influential. And there are a couple of men up in the forwards, in the front row, Mark Venter and Mornay Brandon, who scored some brilliant tries. I was just looking on social media after the games on Saturday. SA Rugby Mag were likening him to a little bit of a Bismarck du Plessis mixed with Scott Brits. So that's the sort of play you want to see, guys like that running with the ball and really lighting up the field. It's going to be another cracking game. I'm sure that we're going to be in for an exciting fixture. There's some big players out there, as we've seen in the previous games, guys that don't give an inch and don't want an inch given. A couple of players from Monument that have played in age group rugby so far and have also looking to finish their week off on a good note. They won their first 2 games, Monument. They beat Dale 33-16 in a solid performance, and then they beat Hartius Middelburg 35-8 in their second game. And Selborne's results, they beat Hartius Droste 45-17 on day 1, and then on day 2 they beat Pretoria Boys High 58 points to 5. I'm joined here by Springbok legend and rugby royalty in South Africa, John Allen. John, please just sum up the week, sum up the rugby that you've seen. Have you been impressed?
Yes, I've been impressed in the style of rugby, because nowadays they're keeping the ball in hand instead of kicking it away. However, you can see that their skill levels are a bit low still. They're not practicing enough in the game just beforehand. A lot of knock-ons, a lot of balls going to but at least they're trying. So there's one positive thing. But I think they're at practice now. They've got to focus on their skill levels and raise that. And the style of rugby that all the schoolboys are playing is the way we should be playing in this country.
As the black and white hoops of Selborne College run out onto the field, led by their skipper and fly half, David Kutzer. The Selborne side have been really impressive, John. I don't know if you've seen much of them. They've been led well by David Kutzer, and this is probably the match of the festival, I think. 2 unbeaten sides and 2 sides that are really going to have a good crack at each other.
Yes, and 2 different style of rugby. Monument will always play the Northern Hemisphere style, or the Northern Province style of rugby, where they use their big forwards, bring it up, but their backs are also quite slick. They can move the ball. Selborne, on the other hand, will play a complete rugby with their backs and forwards. They'll move the ball around, and they'll hope to score out wide. But from a there's no doubt about it, these 2 are probably the 2 best teams that are on show or have been this whole week.
Yeah, Selborne College in their customary black and white hoops, with Monument in the white and black shorts. It's going to be David Kutzer and Selborne College to kick off. They're going to be playing from right to left, as you see on your screen. They do have whatever breeze at their back. It doesn't look like there is much of a breeze at the moment, but it's gusting a little bit. But they're going to have the breeze at their back in the first half. A guy like David Kutzer is going to be running the show from 10 as he prepares to get us underway. to start the second to last game of the 10th edition of the Standard Bank Kearsney Easter Rugby Festival. It's a good kickoff from David Kutzer as it comes down. Unfortunately, Monument can't hold on to it, and referee Wayne Muller is going to judge it. That was a knock forward from Monument. John, you really don't want to be starting that. You don't want to be losing the ball with the kickoff.
No, there's no doubt about it. You want to catch the ball, set it up, settle the nerves, kick it out, and then hopefully have a line out and chase there. But for Selborne, all credit to them. They put pressure on them and they forced the issue.
Mitchell Conlon for Selborne College has been influential at scrum half. A really good runner with the ball, got a solid pass on him and can kick well from the base of the rucks. He's going to feed the scrum here. Good attacking position for Selborne early on in this one. John, you might be able to comment on this one too. You played a lot of years in the front row. These new scrum laws that have been introduced recently, are they positive for the game?
You know, the irony is they're supposed to make the game safe, and they do because they're keeping the height the same, but they're also supposed to keep the collapsing, minimize the collapsing, and yet you see even here at schoolboy they're still collapsing quite often. So I sometimes think you should allow them to at least get the right distance, the right height, but at least slam in, because then it locks the scrum and it won't collapse.
Conlon feeds the scrum. Mountford gives it off to Conlon. Short ball. Good tackle there in the middle of the field from Monument. Selborne set it up and they look to go right again. Conlon scragged in the tackle, just short of the 22-metre line. Pick and go to the left of the ruck. No meters gained there for Selborne College. Conlon, Kutzer coming to the left-hand side. Short ball to his hooker, Mark Venter. Massive hit there from Monument early on. Couple passes out. Dalbach giving it off, taking it up now. Indonesia into the 22. Conlon, short ball into the hands of Andre Rust. Massive hit again. Monument not giving an inch on defence. Conlon goes down the short side. Doesn't have a lot of space. It's a knock forward from Selborne College. But there's no advantage here. Referee Wayne Muller judging that. Monument went offside. Got a bit eager there. Some solid hits early on there, John.
Yeah, the good thing about it is they're trying to get over the advantage line at every opportunity. And they're moving the ball both left and right to try and see the gaps. Monument, on the other hand, their defence right now is holding out. So the only way they can get it is look for a penalty, which they've just got now.
The trusty boot of David Kutzer has been really reliable for Selborne College throughout the week. He's kicked well off the tee as well as kicking well out of hand. Been a vital member of this side. And there are two really good wins earlier in the week. Pretty straightforward kick just to the left of the uprights, 23 metres out. Oh no, he's pulled it. Put the mockers on him, the commentator's curse there from me. David Kutzer unfortunately just hooked that a little bit. Also joined here by Dave McLeod, so there are three of us up here. It's getting a bit of a tight squeeze. Dave, these are two of the best sides at the week. I'm sure you'd agree.
It's worth being cozy in the commentary box to be able to watch this. This Monash team is so impressive. I fancy they'd give a lot of provincial under-19 teams a damn good run for their money. They're extraordinarily slick and they are a well-groomed all-round team. But it's Selborne showing absolutely no respect for that. Here's the opportunity down the outside, dancing out the touchline. Selborne having to regather, composing themselves, and there's the knock-on. They're going to surrender possession.
Penalty, Selborne College. The quick tap from Conlon. He's knocked it forward. John, a little bit of youthful exuberance.
Yeah, certainly exuberance is the word you would use there. Or, I don't know, I just think he saw the gap. He looked at it. Instead of looking at the ball, he looked at the gap, and that's where the little knock on. So it's just the little skill levels that you have to focus on, because that's a golden opportunity wasted.
John, Glen would have been full value this week, probably the best Natal side here. How would you sort of sum up their efforts over this last week?
From all the teams, or just for the... from Glenwood's perspective? No, I think Glenwood, the problem that they have is they haven't played much together, so they made a lot of mistakes today. And if you look at the last game, the mistakes they make, they're individuals. They have to build as a team. And if they don't do that, they're not going to take on the big boys, eh?
Selborne College on the front foot now, deep inside the 22 of Monument as they go to the right-hand side. Ball in the hands of Miles Norton as he drives forward, but the pass has gone forward. So it's going to be a scrum to Monument. We have a bit of a break. Yes, John, do carry on, please.
Yeah, I just think that to make a great rugby team, you have to play as a unit. There's no iron team. And I think in the Glenwood team, they've got some great players there, but they're actually playing as individuals, and it shows because they're doing things, and the other guys don't know what they're doing. So they've got to focus as a team. In saying that, though, they haven't played much together, and I think going forward, the coaches, I'm sure, will sort that out, and they'll get better and better and better. And I would presume they've got some big games coming up because they've got to play Paul Boys away and Garsfontein in the Wilderklaver. So if they don't get it right before then, they're in for a very tough game.
Good scrum there from Monument. The clearance kick coming from the fly half. Jonathan Fulyun takes play up to just short of the 10-metre line. Good exit play there from Monument. Good scrum, good solid platform to launch from there, John.
Yes, I mean, if you look at the way this game has started, it's been all Selborne from a possession perspective, and they're in the Monument half the whole time. And what Monument need to do is start winning ball and start putting phases together. But right now, it's been all Selborne.
Rust is the man in the middle of the line out. Conlon down to Kutzer as fly half. Shifting the ball out, finding space in the middle of the field as the backs link up. Robenheimer on the switch to Indonesia, but he's left it behind. It's gone forward from the Selborne hand. A little bit rusty early on, but as we've seen from Selborne in the last two games, they really build up into their game, and then they become a bit of a juggernaut, very difficult to stop.
Yeah, it's again what I said right at the beginning, and it's probably that was symptomatic of all the teams that have played it. They do good rugby, and then at the last bit, their skill levels let them down. If they get that right, then they'll take it to the next level.
John, the one thing that's obvious, and I'm just looking at the Monument teams, my word, these guys are well conditioned. There are some big, extremely strong, fantastically conditioned boys in this tournament.
Well, that's the difference from when I played schoolboy rugby tonight. We had quite a few oaks that ate all the pies, and you can see it in the way their body structure was there. There's very few people that are eating all the pies here in any of these teams that are playing here. They're well conditioned, well drilled, and to a point, as I say, it's just their skill levels that are letting them down.
So referee Wayne Muller is going to reset the scrum. Monument just outside their 22. Been camped down in their own half for most of this fixture already. Tinus Combrink to feed the scrum for Monument. Good scrum from Selborne College, but they managed to get the ball back. Fulyun finding a bit of space on the open side of the field. Robenheimer has to track back, taking the bounce well, steps one, nearly gets through the other tackle, but it's taken in a tackle just short of the halfway line. Combrink. Kutzer has a crack, gets through a half gap. There's ball on the inside. Was unable to take it on the inside. Was Kulani. And he's just knocked it forward. So now, once again, we're going to set up another scrum. It's the enterprises there, though, John.
Well, there's no doubt about it. They are throwing the ball around and they're trying, and it's just those little things that they have to work on, and they'll get it right. But at least they're making it entertaining. I'd rather see that than kick. And that's the beauty of schoolboy rugby nowadays.
Well, Tinus Combrink has got himself a little bit of a blindside to work with if he wants to. As number 8 and captain PJ Jacobs has been influential for them too over the first two games of this festival. Combrink feeds solid scrum from both sides. He comes to the open side. Fulyun. The skip pass out into midfield. Breitenbach gives it off to Prinsloo. Prinsloo beats one. Prinsloo puts it onto the toe, kicks it through into the 22. Connellan's back. Good play from the scrum half. Manages to mop it up as they set it up inside the 22. Selborne College. The short pass into the hands of Meyer. Meyer taken in the tackle in his 22. Connellan wants it. Kutzer calling in the pocket for the clearance kick. He gets it out down to the halfway line, but it hasn't gone into touch. Combrink takes it, gives it to his fly half, Fulyun. Fulyun with the kick into the corner, finds some real estate. Has he overcooked it? Yes, he has. Saw the space in the corner. Unfortunately, his kick was just a bit too heavy, and it's gone into touch on the full. So, Selborne College have a line out just short of the halfway. John, line outs, obviously back in your day there was no lifting in the line outs, but things have changed significantly since then.
The lifting is there's no doubt about it. It's just the throwing that's still not great. And I don't think they focus enough on the hookers. You've got to do at least 2 hours a day if you want to be a respectable hooker at this level. If you're not doing that, then you'll never get it right.
Great pick up there. That's Morne Brandon. He's making meters for his side up towards the 22-meter line of Selborne College. Fulyun, show and go, has a crack, well tackled in the middle of the field. Slow ball coming for Monument, but they win the penalty. Not releasing on the ground is the call from referee Mayer. So first opportunity here for Monument as they line up a kick for goal. Jonathan Fullion has kicked well too. He's also been a pivot for them, a very important player in their side. Kicked well in their first win as well as in their second win. So they're going to look to him, and hopefully it's we've seen a lot of the rugby in this festival that players have opted to go for touch for the penalties, sort of a festival type rugby. But there seems to be a little bit more to this game than a friendly.
Well, when you're sitting at 0-0, the chances are you are going to go for poles, especially it's the first time they got into the Selborne half, and they want to put the pressure.
It's a good strike, but it's hit the post and it's bounced down, picked up by Mountford, gives it to his captain Kutsa, who can kick it clear. Kicks the ball into the half of Monument. One pass on the inside. PJ Jacobs, the captain of number 8, takes a run at the defenders, tackled on the halfway line. That looks like a high tackle. Wayne Muller's got his arm out for advantage. Combrink digs. He's got men over on the left-hand side if he wants to use it. One pass out. Fullion out wide into the hands of the winger, ranging out on the touchline, but he's been bundled into touch. They're not going to take any advantage there, Wayne Muller. They're going to come back for the penalty. As we know, also with the rule changes, anything high, it's automatic penalty. So penalty once again here for Monument. Be interesting to see what they do here.
John, we've got a bit of time here, so let's dig into some controversy. What do we do with the talented players? How quickly do we accelerate these guys out of their school teams into provincial structures? Because we've seen incidents of players getting hustled, in a lot of people's views, way too quickly into big-time professional structures, even national teams.
That's the problem. They get treated as prima donnas too early. The moment they get the money, they leave school and they think they've made it, but they haven't made it. They're only just beginning, so they have to put in the hard yards. But it's difficult. Now they get money in their bank accounts, they get money in their pockets, and they start having some fun. Whereas the hard yards only begin when they leave school. I like the New Zealand way they do it. For the first 2 years out of school, no one gets anything. And then only when you prove it, then do you start getting paid.
Monument rumbling their maul towards the line in the hands of Mornay Brandon at the back of this maul. Selborne managed to spoil it. Tinus Combrink has a stab and he's over. In for the try. Tinus Combrink with a show and go. Manages to beat the Selborne defenders on the inside and goes over for the score. There isn't a lot better than a good, solid line-out drive. John?
Well, that was typical Monument rugby. It was a good line-out, catch, bring it down, drive, come off from the left-hand side, pop it straight over for a try.
So first points going the way of Monument in this fixture. Second time that they've been in the half of Selborne and they've come away with some points, which will be a little bit worrying for Selborne, that they weren't able to defend their lines there. It was a good kick into the corner from Jonathan Fullion. Got the line out onto the 5-metre line, and they were able to just rumble it up and then scrum off Tinus Combrink, finding some space just on the side of the maul and going over for a good score. Fullion's second attempt at goal today. His first penalty hitting the upright. It's a good strike. He gives it a good old thump. And he's knocked it over. So that's Monument into a 7-0 lead over Selborne. Dangerous stuff there for Selborne. Not Monument getting into their half and coming away with points. Good take there from Linders. Linders has been playing beautiful rugby as he gives it to his captain, Jacobs. Combrink. Fullion, they've got a bit of space out wide if they want to use it. Into the hands of Rousseau, tackled outside his 22. Combrink once again looks and he goes to the blind side. Mornay Brandon with a great skip ball out into the hands of Buitendach, who's taken into touch. Penalty, and I think we're going to see a yellow card. That's the second high tackle of the day from Selborne College. No, Wayne Muller just warning the players that this is the second one. So penalty to Monument. They're finding a bit of space on the outside too, which is good to see.
I think it's good of the ref not to give the yellow card because it just spoils the game if too many yellow cards. One man down is a big disadvantage.
So Monument can't find touch as Robenheimer looks to hoof this one back downtown. And he takes play up towards the halfway line, onto the 10-meter line of the Selborne half. It's also another thing, you were talking about basic skills. We have seen a lot of occasions where guys haven't found touch, or they've kicked a touch and goal off penalties. It's just basic mistakes that cost your side. Brandon feeds a line out. It's come down, but it's on the side of Selborne College. Connellan finds his number 8, Mountford. He's going to have a run. Big man takes a couple defenders just before the halfway line. Kutsa, he's got some runners coming onto mud wide. Into the hands of Robenheimer. Robenheimer to Indonesa. Taking in the tackle near the touchline. Conlon again. Good running there. Short ball to Mark Venter. Taking it up to the 10-meter line of Monument. To the short side. Kutlane takes it into contact. Kutsa once again into the middle of the field. That's a difficult pass to take. Fortunately, Moody's bobbled it. They've kept the ball. Good recovery work there from Selborne College on the halfway line. As they pick and go around the fringes. Conlon off to his fly half, who puts a little dink in behind the defence. Prinsloo's read it well. Beats one defender, beats two defenders, and now he's in a bit of space. Finds some space with the boot. Wild track back there from Conlon. The scrum off for Selborne College. Ball set up just outside the 22. Back to Robenheimer. He can't kick it out on the full, so he kicks it infield onto the 10-meter line of Monument, taken in by Fulyun. Fulyun linking up with Buitendach. He takes it in. Good work from the winger. Combrink once again comes to the short side, into the hands of Skutter. He knocks it off to LaRue. LaRue takes it in. Bit isolated, but they've done well. Buitendach in that scrum half. Ooh. That advantage to Selborne College. Monument trying to spoil the ball on the ground here. Selborne College got the ball just on their 22 side of the 10 meter. One pass out here. Looking for a little bit of space on the outside. Ball into the hands of David Kutsa. The captain and fly half ranging up on the wing, but he's taken in a good tackle by Dandre Prinsloo. Into touch just short of the 22. It's going to be a line out to Monument.
It's lovely to see fly halves going for the Maori sidestep and just straight through.
We've had our fair share of big hits in this tournament as well. Generally, the standard of tackling is very high at this level.
I think they focus a lot on defense, most coaches. So obviously doing hitting tackle bags and that, it'll pay off. And you can see it in this tournament with all the big hits.
John, again, I'm stirring the pot here as well. Do the cash and resources available to schools make a big difference to just how well they can prepare? Some of the schools throw an obscene amount of money to their rugby preparations, and when you come up against schools that simply don't have those resources, they're outgunned.
Well, that's why as a school, you've got to decide. Are you tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3? If you're tier 1, then you have to throw academies. You've got to throw big money at it if you want to compete in the tier 1. So probably the top 40 to 60 schools that are tier 1, from a cash perspective, there's a lot of money that's put into it. If you cannot afford that or don't want to play in tier 1, then you can sort of minimize the amount of money that you spend. But then understand that when you're playing against a tier 1 team, you're going to get thumped by 40.
Brandon with the feed to the back of the line out. Good throw for Monument. Fulyun puts it onto the hoof. Finds some space towards the 22 of Selborne College. Robenheimer tracks back into his 22. He's got a lot of time to get the ball off the pitch. He takes play up to the halfway line. It's going to be another Monument feed to the line out. It's always important that when you do put the ball onto the foot that you find some space. I don't know whether you found it, John, but it seems like there's a lot of kicking going on that is just going aimless kicking and just going to opposition.
Well, I wasn't allowed to kick. I would never kick. But if you do kick, make sure it's a good kick, and that's what I was always told.
So Monument back on the front foot here, out onto the left wing. Good tackle there, Selborne College, taking them behind the gain line. So Monument, Fulyun, looking for big runners. Still got the ball. Tinus Kumbrink's looking for it. finally gets it, hands it up to Linders. Big work from Selborne College, and they managed to win this one. Bit of air here. A lot of men out wide. Big forwards too. That's a brilliant pass from the second rower. Connellan fends one. It looks like the scrum off is going to get it. He's just short. It's going to be interesting to see it. What the referee decides.
No, ref.
He's gone with a penalty to Monument.
No.
It'll be interesting to see that one again.
No, that was to me perfect, and you got to reward such good rugby.
What a break from Stefan Nevenhuizer.
I mean,
He managed to get his hands through. It was a brilliant pass.
It was a fantastic pass. No, I'm sorry, that was one movement, but it looked. I'll give the ref the benefit of the doubt. I think I'll see now.
Oh, just have a look here. So Conlon scragged in the tackle. So Monument still in their own half with the ball. The ball goes in, but they've managed to clean it up at the back as it goes over the jumper. Kombrink, Fulyun running out of options, takes it in. Mountford's managed to get his hands around it, but it goes to ground. Kombrink looking for his hooker, Brandon, but it's gone behind him. Unfortunately for the scrum off for Monument, he's just the pass, just poorly timed. That I don't know whether you've seen Morno Brandon play, but he's been instrumental to their play in the open play. Run well, but he's also run great lines, and he's got very good skills for a hooker.
Most hookers have got good skills.
Skulk Brits-esque, I think, is what a lot of people have been saying. Your hooker is almost your fourth loose forward in modern day rugby.
If you look Monument, they've from the Lions. If you look at the Lions hookers, they all got the same size, same build. So it's as if they used to say in Wales there used to be a flower half machine. But it looks like they're all coming from up north.
So the free kick's gone to Selborne. They've tapped it quickly, and now they're inside the 22 of Monument on the front foot. Conlon gets missed pass out, but well picked up there by Mark Venter. Ball's there for Selborne College. Kutza, cut out pass. Robenheimer, they got a bit of space out here on the left-hand side. Kamlashe taking the ball into contact. Monument getting over it and winning the penalty. Holding on at the breakdown is a call from Wayne Muller. So once again, Monument have the opportunity to get out of their own 22.
John, there's so much talent available and there's only so many places in provincial under-19 teams. The trick surely is to get these kids into club rugby.
That would be the ideal. If not club rugby, then at least varsity rugby, so you can see both of them. But you got to, because the challenge is that if you don't get recognised at province, they think that their chances is gone. And somehow you got to give them that hope that your chance is never gone if you're not being picked up. They call it the green squad, the SA green squad. There's 100 players. There is always late bloomers. The problem is we don't focus enough on those ones that don't get recognised early. And I think we have to put systems in place to recognise those if we're going to nurture all the talent.
So Monument with the breakout. They've lost the ball just over the halfway line. It's fallen into the hands of Selborne College. Good defending there as they try and go down the short side. Robenheimer in that fly half finds number 8 Mountford, who's dropped it on the foot. The kick has fallen into the hands of Buitendach. Buitendach, he returns the favour, but well positioned was the fullback Robenheimer. Oh my goodness, he just looked like he went to kick it. Wasn't entirely sure.
Yeah, I think he looked up, and that was his mistake. Looked up and saw someone 6'8" charging him down and decided to drop the ball. It's easier.
So Monument, an opportunity to attack one of their few forays into the half of Selborne College. Oh, it's a tight head. Great work from Selborne College from the front row. David Kutzer's got it, and he's going to kick it downtown. Prinsloo's got to track back into his 22. It's a good kick there from the fly half. Luttons up his options, Prinsloo. And that's a massive net gain for Selborne College. John Allen, you must be impressed with a good old tight head.
It was a great tight head, but nowadays you can't strike it. So it's the way you push and the way you wheel it. That's how they get the tight heads nowadays. So hookers will definitely take the accolades for it, but I think it's more a collective issue nowadays rather than it was in the past.
So Selborne back inside the half of Monument. Go right to the back of the line out. It's gone over the top once again. Morne Brandon, the hooker's picked up, and he's having a crack. He gets the ball away. Good pass from the hooker. Selborne look like they're all over this one. The penalty's going to go the way of Selborne College. Brilliant work on the ground there from the inside centre.
And that's the classical what inside centre should do. The moment the tackle's made is get the ball. They are probably, you mentioned that hookers should be the fourth loose forwards. Inside centres are on a par with the hookers to be the fourth loose forward.
Yeah, brilliant work. Low body position over the ball. Managing to get a wide base, so they weren't able to twist him off it, and winning the penalty for his side. Another opportunity here for David Kutzer to have a shot at goal. He would have been a bit disappointed with his first effort, as he pulled it wide from a fairly tame angle. But he's got another crack here in front of the posts from about 46 metres out. Struck that one a lot better. He's looking at it. He's pushed it wide, unfortunately, for the fly half and for Selborne College. So another 3 points go begging.
John, just looking at the guy, the way he plays, and even the way he stands on the field, you can't help seeing a similarity between him and Brent Russell. Just the way he plays the game and goes about it, and he looks physically like him as well.
Well, he's a little bit taller than Brent, but other than that, he's got certainly all the attributes and all the skill levels.
Selborne College on the attack. Roman Armour just chips it over into some space. He wants to get a kind bounce. It falls for Monument. It's gone backwards, says the referee. Coming back with the ball. Scooter up towards the 10-metre line. Kombrink finds his fly off for Yun. For Yun shapes to kick and then gives the pass. Finds a bit of space on the outside. Baitenbrach. For Yun in that scrum off. Gives it to his captain, Jacobs. Good tackle. Kombrink comes to the blind side. Breitenbach to Prinsloo. Prinsloo's been running hard. Breitenbach once again takes it up to the halfway line. Kombrink. Short ball into the hand of Linders. Another short ball. Big forward runners off fly half. Taken up just over the halfway line. Kombrink goes back to the blind side. Beating defenders. Rousseau's puts a little chip through into the corner. Is the bounce going to be a good one for him? Taken in by number 14, Norton, but he's bundled into touch. Brilliant stuff from Monument.
That was a great piece of work from Monument there. There was nothing elaborate about the way they played. They did things so simple and so basic, but they did it effectively and they did it at speed and they crossed the gain line every single time. And they got a 40-yard net gain.
Morne Brandon to feed the line out, 5 metres out from the Selborne line. The shortened line out is the option. Big forward runners in centre field for Monas. They go to the back of the line out. That's a great line out. Jacobs has got it now. He's given it back to Morne Brandon, who's got a shoulder bound, is having a look. He's staying bound. It's a good maul. He breaks down the blind side, takes on Miles Norton, and he gets over for the score. Brilliant play from the hooker. Massive smile on John Allen's face as the hooker goes over.
You can actually see the smile on his face when he saw the line, as if he sniffed the line, got it to the back. In fact, I think he stole it from one of the bigger boys at the back, and he saw and over you went.
Morne Brandon, explosive runner with ball in hand, taking on Miles Norton, who didn't really have much of a chance on the blind side, and just bundling over for a great score. Monument into a 12-0 lead.
John, I got to say, where do the hookers stand in the hierarchy? I mean, if they want the ball, do they get it from anybody at any stage?
Yes, because they don't have to pass the ball if they don't want to, because they're not allowed to at certain times. No, I think the modern hooker should be the one that is the link man, because you'll notice he can link with the forwards and he can link with the backs. And it's a question of conditioning. He's got to, when he's doing his training, he must be able to have enough conditioning, enough stamina to actually do both. You go with the backs or with the forwards. So he's got carte blanche, basically. You can't actually, you're on the loose hooker or you're a tight hooker.
So just have a look again here, John. Mono Brandon, he had his eyes up. He was looking for the opportunity. All of a sudden just spotted the gap on the blind side. Took on the winger, Miles Norton. He was trying to hold the ball up, just bumped him off and went over for the score. An explosive player to just take on a big winger like that and get over for a good score.
And where he was clever, because it was actually the maul was going right, and then it shifted and it went left. By shifting left, it would actually move. The whole of the Selborne pack would have gone in the opposite direction, and he saw that. That's why he went off the left, where it was taking on a wing rather than a loose forward or a lock.
Well, that's half-time here at Startfield Monument, leading 12 points to 0. We are joined here by rugby legend, Sharks hero John Allen, and I'm with Dave McLeod.
John, I've got a bit of time while the players catch a breather. You must get so excited to see the level of talent here, but the question you got to ask is, how do we manage these guys optimally to take as many of them through to the next level and make sure that, the world looks at our schoolboys and says, you've got the best schoolboy rugby in the world, and Springbok rugby, you've got to accept, is in a dark place at the moment. We are short. We're way behind. We've got to join the dots. What's the John Allen master plan? Well,
there's two things. First of all, our hierarchy is a mess at the very top at SA Rugby. We don't know who's actually deciding who does what. Our unions or our super rugby teams have got to decide how many we're going to have that's going to play in Super Rugby. And then when you get so that's once you've got to sort that out, and that's a mess. Then they've got to put a strategy together to keep them, because if you think about it, when you're 18 to 22, that's the most critical time. We lose 80 to 90% of our talented players between that ages. And it's because, I believe it's because we pay them too much money when they're younger. So when they've got the money, there's no urge or no desire to carry on. And secondly, we don't have academies where we look after all the people. We've got academies, as they call them, but we don't watch what they eat, we don't watch how they train, and we don't watch what they do in the evenings. We just watch what they do on the rugby field, but you have to monitor all facets: sleeping, eating, even studying. They must study as well. Some of them don't even study. And the chances are that the percentage that makes it, there's a bigger percentage that doesn't make it, but they've got nothing to fall back on when they go out. And so all these things and all these facets you've got to look at. If you really want to protect the youngsters of today, you've got to look at all different facets. You've got to look at how they're conditioned and train, what they're eating, how they're sleeping and where they're sleeping, and also education. You've got to give them some form of education as well.
What about the skills levels? Everybody looked at the Springbok performance, and this is what's causing the trauma and the sleepless nights for our rugby supporters. Do we drill down deep enough to schoolboy level to make sure that the skills are taught there and then transferred all the way up? Because that's where we're getting a puck slide international level.
Definitely. In fact, all the way to primary school, and I blame it on the coaches. Our coaches, they think they're good, but they're not good. They don't practice the skill levels. And I see it every now and again with the Investing Academy. You got the top coaches around the country come there. No one, and I'm looking at a hooker, no one's even taught a hooker where to bind on a prop, where to turn his hips, how to hook a ball. That to me is basic skills. You get taught that when you're at primary school, and they don't know that, and they are the top first team coaches. So if they don't know it, how are the other coaches down from them going to know that as well? And I think too much emphasis has been on either defense or strategy and pillar and post and all sorts of things like that, and all these things that you hear at international level, whereas the focus should be on pure skills. You should be spending most of your time, at least 50% of your time, on skills. Then the other 50% of your time should be spent on set pieces and the likes of that, not the other way around. We spend probably 80% of our time on set pieces and strategy and 20% on skills, and that's where we're falling down. Whereas New Zealand, all they think about is skills, 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 skills. The rest will come because you can coach that, but it takes a long time to coach skill. It just doesn't come overnight.
You had a good swipe at the fact that our guys get lofted into a glory zone. They get contracts and cars and they get cash and glory thrown at them too early. The Kiwi model, which clearly works, I mean, they're the best in the world for very good reason. They do the exact opposite. I think that's what you were talking about earlier, wasn't it? There is no glory. You suck hind teeth for 2 years.
Yes, I mean, they get nothing for 2 years. I mean, they get their basics paid for, their accommodation, their food and their transport and that. They'll move them around, but they get there's no big sums of money that they can invest in houses and cars and all sorts of other things there. It's just basic, and everyone's the same. Their focus is on the bigger picture because they will look after them. Believe you me, they look after them the moment they make it. But now they're all on the same playing level, no matter who it is. And then when they make it, then they look after you. And they look after you because you don't know. Any of these players, they may look like world class here at schoolboy level. But the moment they get a little bit older, those 2 years older, when they're playing against some big boys from all over the world, that's when they'll determine the ones that will come through and the ones that won't come through.
It also amazes me that those Kiwi kids, when they come through the rank, are humble and grounded. They know their place. We've also got a habit of finding a couple of superstars, but we make them rock stars before their time.
Well, there's no mentor. They've got mentors over there. So every single New Zealand player mentors at least 5 young players coming through, and that'll be the same at provincial level and probably even the same at county level. So they've got a mentorship program. We don't. We have the youngsters, we make them prima donnas and they start telling us what to do.
Well, the stars of the future are here. Monas, who've been one of the standout teams at the moment. In fact, these are right up there with the 2 top teams that we've seen in the tournament, and it's Monas leading by 12-0.
Viljoen kicks off towards the 22 of Selborne College. It's a bit scrappy, but it's taken in on the 22. Mountford takes it in. Brilliant run from the number 8. They're coming down the blind side. Good run there, but unfortunately they've lost the ball. Looks like Monument have got the possession now on the front foot and early in the second half. Cutting on the inside for Viljoen. The ball's popped free. Tinus Kornbrink gives it wide to his winger Oosthuizen. Oosthuizen trying to stay in field. David Kutzer manages to get his foot on that one. Kicks it into some space, but there's no advantage. There's a knock on there early. It's always frustrating, John, when you can't take a ball cleanly off a kickoff, especially when you're down. When you're down 12-0, you really got to make sure that you can take the ball cleanly and exit.
Yeah, Ian Maganos used to say it's the spiral effect. The moment you make one little mistake, then it starts rattling on to other mistakes after that, and then you go down and down and down. And the simple things, like a kickoff, like a line-out, like a scrum, those are the basics. If you can get that right, then you can build on that. Then you move. Then it's the spiral effect on the opposite way. Get it right from set piece to set piece to set piece. Then you can throw the ball around.
So Monument, Kombrink, good pass to Viljoen. Viljoen finds his runners out wide. Oosthuizen to Prinsloo. Prinsloo on the outside to Buitendag. Buitendag beating defenders. Gives a pass on the inside. Good defense from Connellan. Monument still on the front foot. Got the ball, looking for some big runners. Lindis, he's run hard. Good effort from him. Selborne College all over the ball on the ground. It has come back for Monument. He's a bit isolated down the short side. Kornbrink, the pick and go from Monument, trying to draw in some defenders. The penalty goes the way of Selborne College, holding it on. Mark Venters really pumped the hooker from Selborne College. So David Kutzer can relieve Selborne College here from their own 5-meter line. Just get themselves out of their own 22 and just relieve a bit of the pressure that they've been under early in the second half. It's a good kick from the fly half, taking play up to the 10-meter line. So, John, you suggest 2 hours of throwing at training is the...
No, for a hooker, if you want to play at the highest level, 2 hours a day, minimum, you've got to throw it at a pole, at a wall, or at someone. And I mean throw, but you also got to put yourself under pressure, so you got to give yourself distances. What I used to do, I used to give myself a target. I had to get 10 out of 10 in the front, 10 out of 10 middle, 10 out of 10 at the back. So that's 30 throws. At any one time, if I didn't get it right, I'd start from scratch. So when I started that, it took me 4 hours initially. By the end, then it should take you 15 minutes.
Well, Monument have managed to take that line out off Selborne, and they're back on the front foot. Viljoen, a skip pass out into the hands of Buitendag, who's cut on the inside. Good little offload there from in the tackle to his fly half. Viljoen, good cleaning there from the Monument. Down the short side, Jacobs. Good defending from Selborne College. He gets up to the 10-meter line. Another pass into the hands of Lindis. Bullocking run from the number 21. Kombrink to Viljoen. Viljoen, oh, good play there. Well done in the end from Rousseau to manage to keep the ball. Good attention from the Selborne defenders. They come to the left again. LaRue takes on a few defenders, drives forward well. The ball pops out the side. Linders manages to clean it up. Kombrink puts it onto the foot, into the 22. Ball's going to roll over the try line. And it's going to roll touch and goal. But we're going to go back for a penalty to Monument. Just Monument looking to just use the advantage there. Put the ball into the corner. But Tinus Kombrink's kick going touch and goal. Penalty to Monument. A chance to get points early.
Well, you'll see Monument have changed tactics. In the first half, it was all Selborne at the beginning of the game. Now it's actually in the second half, it's all Monument at the beginning game because they're just holding on to the ball. And they're just phasing, they're playing phase rugby and turning it over and looking for the penalties.
John, I guess that's just been clinical in execution. It's those little mistakes which lead to the turnovers and loss of momentum. So the sides that have done the hard yards in training grounds are the sides that are clinical. And I guess that's what wins you games, big games like this.
Solid strike from Viljoen. But he's pushed it out to the right again. Unfortunately for Monument, he's leaving a couple points out there, which they hopefully for them won't prove to be too costly. Very basic kicking style as Robenheimer goes quickly. Good vision from the fullback, gives the ball out. Ranging down the touchline is Nieuwenhuizen. Nieuwenhuizen, ball in one hand, looking for a pass, unable to find it. Good counter shove there from Dundre Prinsloo, the fullback, as Monument come away with it. Oh, Rousseau can't take it cleanly. There's a man down in back play. Wayne Muller sees a flag. The touch judge, or the assistant referee rather, is going to have a word with him.
John, your specialist kicker is a key man. I guess you got to protect him. But in your career, a couple of front rowers blew that myth clean out of the water. You had Muppets like Ollie LaRue demanding their status as a place kicker. I mean, that really doesn't help the growth of the game.
Yes, but we used to have competitions. He used to win all the competitions kicking, so he could actually kick. But it just wasn't a pretty sight when you saw him wobbling up and actually kicking the ball over. So we had to, from a front row perspective, we loved it. But the backs, they got quite upset every time he would kick the ball.
But he's got Super Rugby penalties to his credit. You can't let him get away with that. It's not right.
I wish I had.
You still got archive footage somewhere of your playing days, your international days? What is your favourite John Allen moment? If you had to indulge one 10-second clip of your rugby days, what would it be?
I battle to remember what happened on the field. I've got a clear memory of what happened off the field there. No, I think winning the Currie Cup in 95 against all the odds, against Province at Kings Park, and that was the weather suited them because it was wet weather, and they were punting their scrum, their front row, and we outmuscled them and outthought them in that whole game from a front row perspective. So it stands clear because we had to put a lot of thought into it, how we were going to neutralise their scrum, and it was all about using our brain rather than our brawn, and that stands out probably the most.
Well, it goes back to the discussion earlier about thought and strategy, and that's starting right at the top and permeating all the way down to the primary school rugby level. So 22 minutes to go.
Selborne College a bit scrappy off the back of that line out, but they managed to clean it up. Well, Monument have got 14 players on the field. Their number 11, Brendan Buitendag, getting a yellow card for an early tackle. So he's going to spend 5 minutes in the bin. But Selborne College have got the ball inside the half of Monument. Carrying hard. Big prop forward, Cameron Moody for Selborne College. They got advantage here for an offside, one suspects. Robenheimer hitting the line. Good stepping from the fullback. A loose pass from him, but the penalty is going to come to Selborne College. They really need to make this 5 minutes count, Dave. They've got an extra man on the field, an extra man in the back line especially, so they really need to make it work.
It's been bizarre for Selborne because they've been able to play their game at will throughout this tournament. They haven't even opened their account here, so that they'll be desperate to get on the board.
Well,
They've got enough reason to believe that they can play themselves right back into this game, but they need to get down into the territory and make it count. Now, having taken the decision to go for the corner flag, they're going to set up a line out 15 metres out. They've got to make this count. With 20 minutes left, their prospects in this game are going to hinge on their converting this to at least a 5-pointer.
An extra man in the back line for Selborne College with that yellow card. Nieuwenhuizen, the man who started it all way back in his own half, takes it in. They set up the maul. It's a very well set up maul here. The ball's at the back in the hands of Mark Venter as they push over the 5 meter line. They're going right towards. They are over in the corner. That's another try for a hooker. John Allen would be unbelievably stoked. The Selborne hooker, Mark Venter, getting in for the score. Brilliant try from Selborne College. Setting up a great maul. Very accurate play from them. And Mark Venter, the hooker, getting over in the corner for their first score. They've opened their account now. The tails will be up. David Kutzer with a massive conversion here.
Well, we put the pressure on the boys to convert that territory into points, and that's exactly what they've done. This could be the Selborne comeback they're looking for, and you can see the spring in the step, Nick. They know they're right back in it. Got a man down over the try line as well, which would be a cause for concern, because at this stage, having muscled their way back in, you don't want to concede any key personnel. So let's trust that's just a winding. I think he's one of the big front rows who's possibly a bit out of puff 50 minutes in.
That's the try scorer. That's Mark Venter, who just had a little bit of a rib issue, I think. We see again, they set up the maul beautifully. They got the apex going, the backward V. Mark Venter with the ball at the back, keeping his head in, just knowing that if they just keep moving forward, he'll eventually get over the line, and he just plops down when they get over.
And the conversion is bang on as well. It's the 7-pointer we wanted.
So, great kick from David Kutzer. Has he found his kicking boots now? Going into the final 20 minutes of this one. Brilliant kick from the fly half, right from the touchline. So, 12-7 to Monument. 20 minutes to go. Do we see a change in the wind here, Dave?
Well, there's no doubt that there's a spring in the step of the Selborne boys. The Monash forwards will look at that TV replay of how they defended that rolling maul, and I think the coach will give them a bit, because they were definitely guilty of just watching the guys assemble that rolling maul, and they didn't get in behind it.
Fuljun's kick is a high hanging one. Nieuwenhuizen can't take cleanly. It falls into the hands of Linders. The number 21 being so prominent today and on Saturday. The pick and go from the captain Jacobs down the short side. He's being helped by the man in number 19, Christian van Niekerk. Combrek, there's a drop goal on here. Fuljun lines it up. It's a bit of a vor, and it's gone in the top corner. It's a brilliant goal. If those were soccer goals, just cut it away into the top right-hand corner. But unfortunately for him, it's got to go over the crossbar, not under.
Yeah, see, for fly halves, when you get those ones over, I'm afraid you have to apologise for your teammates for weeks afterwards, because it's not right. But he very nearly got away with it. But again, that's a reflection of how close this game is. They're kind of snatching at every possible opportunity to create some breathing space. And that it didn't do. All it has done is it's gone and created the Selborne kickoff. But again, they kick off directly to you. So it's always worth taking that risk.
Lucky bounce there for Jacobs. He let it bounce and it's fallen for him. Combrink finds Fuljun. Fuljun looking for runners out wide. Yes. Finds Rousseau. Rousseau into the hands of Breitenbach, who carries it up over the 10-meter line. Fuljun once again finds his runner. That's Mononyane. But he gets a good pass away into the hands of Brandon. Selborne College on the ball at the breakdown. I think they've managed to turn it over. They have done so. Brilliant work at the breakdown. Nieuwenhuizen in that scrum half. Short ball. Good carry there from Cody Else. Selborne College trying to get the ball out here. Trying to get as quick a ball as they possibly can. They go to the open side. Mountfoot takes on one defender. Beats him. Gets up to the 10-meter line. Good offload in the tackle. Connellan looking down the left-hand side. Finds his fullback Robenheimer, but can't hold on to it. It's well cleaned up there by David Kutzer, though. Takes it into contact just short of the halfway line. Pick and go. Well played, finding a bit of space next to the ruck. Connellan gives it to Robenheimer. Robenheimer off to Kutlane. Kutlane stepping and going, beating a couple defenders. Brilliant run from the inside centre. He manages to hold on to it well. Taking play over the 10-meter line. Mountfoot in that scrum half. Goes down the blind side. Robenheimer calls for it. Throws a massive skip pass out into the hands of Indonesia. Robenheimer once again. Good rugby here from Selborne College. Taken into contact. Selborne fans willing them on here as they got men over on the open side. Unfortunately, the pass from Kamlashe doesn't go to hand, but Nieuwenhuizen picks up well. He takes the ball just short of the 10-meter line. Connellan looking down the short side. Probably not the right option. Bounces out of one tackle. Gets to the 10-meter line. Nieuwenhuizen in that scrum half. Gives it to Kutzer. Kutzer with a short ball on the inside. Brilliant angle run there from Grant Meyer. Connellan, he's not there, but it's well played out. Mountfoot on a good angle. Gets a pass away. Interception, though, Away comes Prinsloo. DeAndre Prinsloo on the foot. The ball's rolling free. DeAndre Prinsloo picks up his kick, puts in another kick. It might work down the far side. Jacobs can't get hold of it. Neither can Prinsloo. Ball into touch. What a phase of play.
Nick, just take stock of what we've just seen over the last 2 minutes. The skill level has been extraordinary from both the Selborne players and the counter-attack, which was a far more sort of spurious individual effort. But through the Selborne team, from the tight forwards to the backs, they were running into spaces. They were keeping the hands clear in tackle. They carried it through 12 or 13 phases. Fantastic advert for what schoolboy rugby is capable of delivering. And probably good that the Selborne lock has gone down, because they're going to be fairly out of puff. But that was remarkable, and it's sad you aren't able to convert that into meaningful points. But Selborne will look back on that little clip of video and really take heart coming into the new season. That was quality rugby.
Selborne line out, and they're missing their primary line out option, Evenhazen, who's down receiving some attention. They managed to get the ball in. It's well taken by Grant Meyer. Takes the ball down. They get it to ground. Conlon looking for his fly half Kutzer, who keeps it low into the wind. Gets it off the park. Doesn't get a lot of distance with that clearance kick, but takes play out of their 22 and up towards the 10-meter line. Coming onto the field is Thomas Bursey. He's coming into scrum half. He'll be taking the place of Mitchell Conlon, who's had another storming game. But Bursey in the last game played really well at scrum half and at fly half, so hopefully they'll have more the same from him. As the ball goes over the back and it pops down to him, Bursey picks it up. Taken in a gang tackle, just short of the 10-meter line. Monument going in, but illegally so. Going off their feet at the ruck, and they've given away a penalty. Selborne College with the opportunity to get out their own half.
So 14 minutes to go in this game, and some strategic calls being made on the bench about getting fresh legs on. This has turned out to be a real arm wrestle, and bear in mind this is match 3 in 5 days, so the players are definitely out of puff. Ridge Snelling coming onto the field in jersey 19 to bolster the numbers of the black and white hooped Eastern Cape boys as they kick downfield. 14 and a half minutes. Remember, they're trailing by just 5. So this is going to be a cracker of a showdown. Bursey's been a key player. He's a magnet. He goes straight into the action. He's never far away from the ball, and his hunger and desire to get the ball into his hand means that he's always there at the breakdown. He's often there on the shoulder of the attacker who manages to find some gap and run into space. But as a first receiver, he's extremely useful, and he's got the distribution skills of the scrum half, and that makes him a useful asset, especially with 10 or 15 to go.
Oh, the line out's gone straight over the back from Selborne College, and it's been snapped up by Monument, who can get themselves out of their half and into the Selborne half and on the front foot. Good run there from Skutter, the number 7 flanker. He gives it off to his captain, Jacobs. Jacobs takes play over the halfway line. Combrink coming down the blind side. Into the hands of Funny Cook. Funny Cook with a brilliant offload. Oh, contact there. Fulyon takes on one. Good tackle there from Selborne College. Just short of the 22. Combrink down the short side. Jacobs again throws a skip pass out into the hands of Oosthuizen. Oosthuizen takes it up over the 22. Combrink again. Mononyane. Oh, he tries to get the little flip pass, but they managed to hold on to it. Jacobs again, straight up the middle. Combrink to his fly half. Fulyon. Brandon running the dummy line. Gets the ball wide. Luke Rousseau beats one. Gives it into the hands of Buitendag, and DeAndre Prinsloo is going to go over, but we're going to have a word here with the assistant referee. Wayne Miller not convinced that that's a try.
Yeah, it was done at speed, and it was tiptoeing down the touchline. So AR's had a careful look at that, and he was well positioned. So he's having a word in the ref's ear, and he's decided to award the try.
A brilliant try from Monument, managing to get on the outside of the defenders. It was brilliant play from Luke Rousseau, getting on the outside of his defender. Gets a ball out wide to the fullback, DeAndre Prinsloo, in the 24 jersey, because his 15 jersey got ripped on Saturday, so he's playing in the 24 jersey today. But brilliant play from him. Had a lot of work to do still in managing to get over in the corner.
Yeah, and as John pointed out earlier, and I must thank John in his absence, he's had to go off and do other things, pressing engagements late on a Monday afternoon when it's a public holiday. But they do the basics right. They hold their structure, they draw in the defenders, and they create that half overlap, and they've got a good finisher who is able to take advantage of it. But by sticking to the game plan and sticking to structures, the reward has come. The Selborne know that their way of getting around that is to destructure the game as much as possible. So Viljoen now with the conversion.
You see there, Luke Rousseau just getting on the outside of Miles Norton, the defender for
Is he
Selborne College.
clinically drawing the defenders? That's a great job. It's a brave effort at the last gasp defence.
And the kick is a great one from out wide. Jonathan Prinsloo, phenomenal kick from the left-hand touchline. Sails through 19-7 to Monument. That's a good little bit of breathing space with 11 minutes to go in this one. Monument will feel that if they can get one more score, then they'll be out of reach.
So just over 10 minutes to go, Nick. It's to get themselves back into this game. And remember, Dale did it spectacularly. That's the example that everybody will have in mind. But again, the lack of precision, the lack of clinical execution here is going to frustrate them, because the line-out is going to be a Monument put in, bringing the changes, getting more fresh legs onto the field.
Nieuwenhuizen looks like he's coming back.
Yep.
Maybe there was a blood replacement. He's been influential for them today, so they wouldn't want to lose him. So he's back onto the field. Monument will be disappointed with that restart, unable to take it cleanly. So they've knocked it on. It's going to be a scrum down to Selborne College on the 10-metre line in Monument territory. They really have wanted to take that cleanly. Good exit play. Get down into the Selborne half and put the pressure back on. But they've been unable to do that, so Selborne College have the opportunity on the 10-metre line with the scrum. Bursey to feed.
What's Kutsa got in mind here? He needs to ignite something special, because that defence is looking very efficient and structured for Monas.
The pass over Robenheimer. He is unable to take it. Miles Norton has to clean up. Good defending from Monument. They've got their hands on the ball, but Norton's managed to get to ground. Bursey looking for runners. Gives it off into the hands of Kulane. Kulane to his number 8, Mountford, who's taken in the tackle. Selborne going backwards here. David Kutsa with a little goose step. Gives it off to Robenheimer's fullback, who tries to give it back on the inside to him, but there's no one there. As Tinus Combrink comes away with it, popping it up into the hands of Christian van Niekerk. The pick and go from Skutter. He's been abrasive with ball in hand. Looks like a young Ruan Ackerman. Viljoen, short ball. Great run from Morne Brandon, but that's a terrific tackle on the 22. Combrink coming to the left-hand side. Lindis with a big drive once again from him. Combrink wants the ball. Combrink gives it off to Viljoen. Viljoen on the switch back to his captain, Jacobs. Jacobs taken in a very good tackle by Cody Else. The ball going behind the player, but it's wrapped up and picked up by Van Niekerk, who keeps the Monument going forward. That keeps him in the 22 of Selborne on the front foot. It's a poor pass. Misses his mark. Prinsloo, that's on the outside. Rousseau can't take cleanly. So it's going to be a scrum to Selborne College. Maybe a little bit of fatigue sort of coming into their game now. I played two difficult matches before this, and 8.5 minutes left here. Might be getting a bit tired, all these players.
What you have to credit Monas for are the cool heads, because they keep their structures. Players get very excited when you start getting into the 22 and into the red zone, but they are very clinical about keeping their structures. They've got a game plan. They don't overcommit players to the ruck if they're not necessary, and it's clearly a lot of thought that's gone into the structure, but more importantly, they've gone and passed that thought on, and the players have all bought into it. And it's frustrating to see a poor bit of execution at the end let them down, but it certainly does bode well of the structures and the pre-season that Monas have put in. Selborne have also done a remarkable job on defence, because this Monas attack is fairly intimidating. They're physically robust, they run well into spaces, and to actually hold them to where they are on the board, Selborne have done well.
Especially with Selborne not getting as much ball as Monument have had throughout this match. But so it's been difficult. They've sort of had to work off scraps, and they've had to clean up their own mistakes a lot of the time. A lot of passes going over the shoulder, drop passes. So it's a huge scrum from Monument. A massive scrum, but the penalty is going to go the way of Selborne. Illegal scrummaging is the call from referee Wayne Muller. So the penalty to Selborne College, a bit of relief on the cards here for them. David Kutsa going to want to bang this one deep into the half of Monument so they can launch an attack with just over 7 minutes left of this fixture. But he doesn't find touch. That's sacrilege. He is unable to find touch. So Monument have another crack. Running it back from deep. Buitendach takes a couple defenders with him. David Kutsa's over the ball for Selborne College. And he's won it. David Kutsa, the captain and fly half, has won the ball on the ground. Bursey, good little offload. They got a few numbers here, but they go back on the inside to Bursey once again. Takes it over the 10-metre line. Monument trying to spoil the ball. Nieuwenhuizen off to his captain Kutsa. Into the hands of Kulane. No advantage. There's going to be a penalty here for Selborne. They need to do it quickly. They need to get this ball off the pitch quickly if they want a chance to win this one.
Nick, there's been a definite momentum shift here, and with 12 points in it and about 6 minutes remaining in the game, Selborne believe, there's a sense of self-belief that they can get into the Monas half and score twice in these remaining 6 minutes. So they're going to kick for territory, back the line out to deliver them good first phase ball and see if they can rumble it up.
Kutsa will be a little bit disappointed with that kick, but his confidence might be a bit low after the one he missed touch earlier. But he gets the ball off the park, that's the most important thing. Gives Selborne a chance to attack here, a couple meters out of the 22 of Monas. Nieuwenhuizen is the man they go to. Unfortunately, he can't hold on. Jacobs tries to pick it up, but he knocks it on at the back of the line out. Selborne College with the put into the scrum on the 15-meter line. They've got a little bit of a blind side to work with here. I know Bursey's got a good turn of pace, so maybe he'll try and exploit that if they get up on the right-hand side of the scrum.
Well, get out of jail free for Selborne because they messed up their own line-out. I mean, it was an attacking opportunity, and they would have wanted to execute clinically and at least get the ball back down to Kutsa clean so that they could execute whatever the plan was, but they were gifted that. There was a little knock-on by the Monas forwards who were trying to capitalize on the ball bobbling over the back of the line-out. So, put into Selborne.
Big pressure coming from Monument. Bursey goes to the open side, into the hands of Kutsa. They've got advantage. David Kutsa has a crack. That's a brilliant run from the fly half. Beats a couple defenders. Gives Selborne the ball on the front foot. They're going to want quick ball here. Bursey looking for it. The Monument defense has been able to line up well. Oh, Miles Norton trying to get on the outside of the defender. Bursey once again spoiling there on Monument. The pass up into the hands of Luke Dalbach. He gets to go forward, but there's no advantage. Monument spoiling the ball on the ground, but the penalty is going to come to Selborne College. Offside at the breakdown. Adam Mountford's got it, looking up to his captain to find out what the option's going to be.
The tap and go is on there, Nick. Really, they had the Monument defence scrambling. Space out on the right, and they've now had time to reorganise and catch their breath. So with less than 5 minutes to go, time is of the urgency. They need to score twice here. They need to up the pace and tempo of this game to give themselves a shot at crossing the line twice.
Well, Bursey taps it quickly and they go. Luke Dalbach taking it in. Monument trying to steal the ball on the ground, but they can't. Bursey with a little dab around the side. He's taken in a tackle 5 meters out. The ball's come back on the Selborne side, luckily for them. Pick and go down the left-hand side. Rumbling forward onto the 5 meter line. Ball comes to Kutsa. Kutsa on the switchback. Nieuwenhuizen, the big man stretches, and he's in for the score. Stefan Nieuwenhuizen. Brilliant try from the second rower. He's been influential for them. Might sound like a bit of a cliche, but he has really been influential. Really important play today. He's run well with ball in hand. He's been their go-to man at line-out time. Brilliant score. He really deserved that one, didn't he, the second row?
100% right, and just desserts for Selborne because they kept their structures and they've come back with such determination. If this is a test of their self-belief and character, then they're passing it with flying colours. Kutsa should bang this one over. Now we've got a game on, Nick. We've got 3 minutes, and we've seen a spectacular comeback from the Selbornians, so let's assume that Kutsa is going to bang this over. It's going to make it a 5-point game. Oh, my word, he's pulled it. Oh, my word.
David Kutsa, we were calling him before the game. We were saying how well he's played and how well he's kicked. He left his kicking boots at home today.
Look, they need to get back and score twice. That was always the plan. They've now got less than 3 minutes to do it, but it's going to put all the pressure onto that second conversion if they can get across the chalk.
It's a huge restart for both sides, actually. Selborne College really want to take this one in and then just work their way back up the field with 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. For Monas, they want to get there, make the tackles, put Selborne under pressure. Kutsa takes it this time. He wants to do it himself by the looks of things. Takes play outside the 22. Penalty advantage here for Selborne College, not rolling away at the ruck, so they've got an opportunity. Bursey slowing things down. They do have time to kick it out. And that's going to be the choice. David Kutsa, great take from the captain and fly half, beating a couple defenders and then getting his side the penalty.
And it's a very conservative kick. He's just getting it out. So it does give us time to reset, but there's 2 minutes. 2 minutes is actually more than enough time to get down there. But given how resolute this Monument defense has been, it's going to take a couple of phases to get through there. So
massive line out here for Mark Fente as they go to the back. It's gone over the top. Over the top, unfortunately, and it's fallen to Janu Lawrence, the reserve hooker who's on the field. For Yun, to his captain Jacobs. Jacobs crashing it up, takes in a couple of defenders. Cornbrin comes to the short side. Scooter with a good step, but he's taken in a good tackle in the end. Ball's gone backwards, says the referee, so it's play on. Monument still on the ball. Under a minute and a half to go. They're going to want to stay in this part of the field as Cornbrin goes to the air. Not a bad kick from the scrum half. Robenheimer has called the mark. Well taken by the fullback. He's going to have to go quickly here.
Minute 15.
Time is not on his side as he goes quickly and gives a pass wide. It falls into a bit of space.
But Nick, this is where their chances are. The more loose and destructured it is, the better chance right now they need to counter and run most of the length of the field. And this is what Selborne will want to do.
They've lost the ball though. It's on the Monument side. Monument having a crash down the blind side. Little pop up to the captain, Jacobs, who tries to get his pass away, but it's gone forward. Tries to get his pass off the deck. Unfortunately, they're unable to take it, but with 40 seconds left on the clock, Selborne have got to go coast to coast.
And then Demisa has gone down as well. It's not looking good for the winger. He's looking in a lot of pain, and it's just seconds to go. The clock is ticking, so we like to assume that ref is going to stop the clock for this one. But through no lack of enterprise, I mean, Selborne have been full of running. It's been a cracker display from both teams, but Monument and their structures are going to get a tick in that box. And if they do win this game, it'll principally be because they've kept their shape and they've been very rigid and disciplined. Discipline has let some of the teams down in the tournament. It's been silly handling errors, but crucially indiscipline, which has led to penalties, which has cost them. But Monas have been very good today.
John Allen mentioned earlier how Monument keep the game very simple. They use their big forward runners. They kick well from hand. They kick well at goal. And they've played to their strength today. They've had good, big, hard running from their loose forwards and their second rows, who have given them good go forward. And they've just capitalised on those sort of things. And you'd think that Selborne would have to produce something miraculous here if they want to go all the way and score and win this one.
Well, time is officially elapsed here. So this is going to be the last movement of the game. It's a Selborne put in. I'm afraid you're going to have to go large here, boys.
A draw is the best that they can do. Into the hands of Kutlane. Made a couple meters. They get a penalty. Quick tap and go. They've got to go all the way here. They need some support there on the ball. They managed to recycle that ball. Kutsa with the pass out. Kutlane stepping one, having another go himself. Monas have turned it over. They've turned this one over, and Fulyon's going to hoof it into the grandstand. And that is going to be the final whistle. Referee Wayne Muller brings an end to this encounter. An absolute battle of attrition today. Brilliant result there for Monas. Some unbelievable play from both sides, but a couple tries for Monument through their hooker, Morne Brandon, Dundre Prinsloo getting over the line. Those are two standout players of the day for the side from Monument. Unlucky for Selborne College, just a little bit too late. They didn't have the opportunities that they would have liked, and they went down in this one by 19 points to 12.